All right, so we have a testing phase going on, right? And I'm going to explain to you what's going on with all the challenges that will continue. They will continue because we have to unravel all of the doing. So whatever you give, you receive. We've been giving a lot of really negative things because ego has placed us first, and therefore we have disregarded the oneness of what we are. And so I'm going to talk about that because there is a major test and a split that I want to share with you. I want to ask you a few questions, see where you are in this 5D. Now, we're going to talk about 5D and what that is also. All right, you ready? Let's go. Welcome to Landria Onkka on YouTube, here to help you break through fear and live an amazing life. What is 5D? We'll have 1,000,000,001 opinions on it. What I want you to know is 5D is simply a higher frequency that places you closer to the oneness of what you come from and are. You just don't come from it. You are that. You never lost it. You are it. The illusion of the matrix of this physical world is still the one. So if I create a painting, the painting doesn't stand alone. The painting is not me, but it is a creation that I created. It's something that I expressed in that painting, and my energy and everything that I am went into that. But I'm not the painting. That's all this is. Okay, I'm still the human being that created the painting. You are still the light that created the physical being to play out and express yourself, all right? Beautiful artistic creation you are. Now I want you to know that 5D is simply the expansion of that light. It's all it is. So you'll hear somebody say, this is how it is and that's how it is, and that's what we're going to talk about today. That's still ego claiming to know things, all right? Now, the expansion of your light could be anything, and no one really has a handle on that, right? If we knew what it really truly was and experienced it, then we'd all have the same definition. And my opinion, and this is just my opinion, not telling you how things are, but I don't believe there is any one version of anything. I believe that every version is valid. Again, because I think that we are not limited by anything. I think we're limitless, which means that whatever I think and believe is true. I get to do that. That's part of your free will. Okay, what is the testing phase of the 5D world? All the challenges we've been going through are the tipping point of some really negative behavior, lower frequency behavior. 3D, 4D, by the way, the fourth dimension is time. Did you know that? Yeah, scientists say that. The fourth dimension is simply time, which we know doesn't really exist. Neither does 1, 2, and 3 dimensions, right? Not really. We're way beyond that. But we categorize that because there's a density in that. When we go to higher dimensions, we lose time because we go past it. We lose our sense of what the world really is, and we start to recognize that we're so much greater than that. And so we're just going into this other place of empowerment and expansion. So it's a really positive thing because, as I explain, if you've joined my miracle circle, we go into that space. It's the space where we don't think anymore. We just know that everything is and that we are part of that endless resource of the art, of the creation, of the inventions, of the joy, of the love, and also the darkness. Now, the testing phase, the 5D testing phase, is not the challenge. It's the reaction to the challenge. Think about this. So there will be factions, especially here in the United States, that will claim that they fight for freedom. How can you fight for freedom? You either have it or you don't. And freedom isn't always a physical thing, right? We know people that have been locked up that have been more enlightened than anybody walking the earth, and so they go into that expansion phase and actually many times leave their body. So nobody can keep you confined, not really. Now, we still experience the material world, but the testing phase is not the health challenge that we just went through, and more and more and more, and it's just going to be never ending. And let's get real. It's always been there. since the beginning of mankind's abuse of nature, let's just put it that way. So my question is, how have you behaved? Do you fight for something and it puts you in a position to oppose somebody? So if you're battling for freedom, or you're battling for peace, or or awakening, if you have anything that doesn't include everybody, a group, an opinion, whatever it is, if you are excluding people, you are of the dark frequency. And I'm going to share something with you I want you to be so aware of. If I was going to recruit you to an actual belief, because my channel is about empowerment of you empowering, you creating your future, you creating your reality, you being right, you respecting somebody else and not trying to force your opinion on somebody else. And that's total letting go. That's total empowerment. So if you are going to want somebody to think the way you do and convert them to an actual belief to create that reality, how would you present it? Would you get up there and rant and rave? No. You would come off like this absolute perfect being, and you'd gain the trust and build the relationship, and then you'd say, this is how things are. And I want you to think good and hard about that. If it's one way of anything, then it is an ego-based opinion, and that's all. It doesn't make them wrong. But if they're trying to convert people to that thought, then they believe that there is just one right or one wrong or one, way of doing things, and they're still ego-based, so they may not even intentionally be doing it. Now, many are intentionally doing it. Media does it. Everybody, in those realms are very well aware of what they're doing. We're the good guys, and here's how things are, and it creates separation. If it creates separation, it is of a low frequency. It is not in the 5D. It can't possibly be. 5D welcomes everyone. When you open that door of the penthouse, you have to earn that frequency. You can't even get up there unless you're in 5D or higher. So guess what? If that elevator door opens, everybody's going to love and welcome you, no matter what, unconditionally, no matter what and who you are. Because you aren't any one thing. And up there, nobody is one thing. They're not a color or a culture or a class or anything else. That goes away because that's the material world, and 5D goes past that. 5D recognize that's just an expression that tests us to see how we're going to react to that and if we will separate ourselves. And when you go into 5D, there's no separation. Somebody just said, I shared this with you, there's a group here I should join. And I looked at the group and I'm like, why would I join that? It excludes people. Why would I join any group that excludes people? My doors of any group that I create are open to anybody. And of course, you're going to only attract the people that desire that. But because they desire it, and so different expressions in groups is good because we create diversification that works all together. There's no, we're right and you're wrong, now we're going to fight, which is how we functioned up to this point, right? We create communities that tend to say, well, we have this, and we're bread makers, and, well, we have a vegetable garden, and we'll exchange, okay? Oh, and, we make tools, and we do, and we exchange, and it becomes this beautiful, diversified, but not separated communities, expressions of the one. So the illusion is still the one. The illusion is still real because it's the one, but it's an illusion. Because the ultimate source of even the illusion is not the illusion itself. It is unconditional light and love and creation. That's all it is. And so everything it does, in whatever form it is just an expression of the source, and that source never goes away. It's not separate. So you are the source. You're the source, and you're the creator. And 5D, you go into that space and you know it. You know it, and you also know your perceived limitations here, and that you're okay with that because you know you're supposed to experience that so that you can know the freedom and the unconditional and unlimited love and creation that you truly are. And by being perceived limited, we get to know that. Contrast allows you to know that, and that's all that's going on. But your reaction to anything here that creates separation is So not 5D. So if you're joining groups and saying you're right and we're fighting for this, or we're going to liberate everybody, is the total opposite of what that new earth looks like. It can never come out of that. There's always going to be a right and a wrong in that frame of mind. It's a frequency. It's a frequency of separation, and that's all 5D is. It's a higher frequency that eliminates separation. There's still challenges in 5D, because as long as you're a human being, you get to experience the beauty of being here, so enjoy it. And when you go into dark places, when stuff shows up, know that it's purposeful. You don't have to try and figure it out, because the human brain can't. And just say, it's about my reaction to this. How am I going to handle this? Because this isn't me. This is part of the illusion of the one that I am participating in, because I am the creation. I am not the creation. I am the one creation that is everything. So I'm you and everything else. And so when I say I'm you, I'm not you, the person. I'm not you, the whatever. We're just light and love. Beyond any possible human comprehension of love. I've experienced it. I've been places. And I'm going to tell you something. You probably have too, and maybe you know it, maybe you don't remember it. That's okay. It's irrelevant at this point. It's still about what you're going to choose right now. Are you in 5D? Are you in the split? The split is accepting everything, including those who are going to different choices, and the others who see us as a threat, those of us who are choosing oneness as a threat. They don't want to be one because they think they're right, and that's okay. So we have to go into acceptance of that and say that's part of the game. Allow it. Allow them to spiral down into the dark night of the soul, because sometimes that's the only revival available. And we've all been to those places where you're just like, don't want to be on this planet anymore. It's a very difficult place to be. Congratulations, master student. What are you going to do with it? When you go into fear, you guys know this. Let's see. I'm always doing this. You'd think by now that I would have this. Subscribes to my left. And this is free, and you will get a free mobile app. What am I manifesting? Catching your thoughts, because you have to be cognizant. What is your quantum keyword? Did you see that video? We are AI, artificial intelligence. YouTube picks up on my keywords. Somebody said, oh, Cryon showed up. Wow, that's synchronicity. I said, no, it's keywords, because we're pulling from each other's channels. That's deliberate. And it's going on behind the scenes. You don't even know it. So AI is saying, well, they like Cryon, and a lot of people like Landria, who likes Cryon, and a lot of people that like Landria like, Abraham Hicks, and they do all the math. It's just this, and that's what the quantum field is. So I say, when I put a keyword in, that keyword is rounding up the interests of people. And so your keywords are creating absolutely everything that's coming to you right now. Everything. Watch those keywords. What are your quantum keywords? Because that will determine whether you go into a 5D or you continue to separate yourself. Going into fear, whatever. Come over, take Breakthrough Fear. It is now a much more advanced program, and I have private coaching every week. You and I, private coaching. Yeah. And it's pretty serious stuff. It is a lifelong course now. And it has changed people's lives. We have had amazing things happen. And that's my quest now, is whatever I do, I'm going to help people create and evolve. And we still live in a material world where we have to pay our bills and, do all these things that aren't always a lot of fun. I hope that you will subscribe and share. I got it right, didn't I? Subscribe and share these. Somebody said, I can't believe you only have 100,000 or 102,000 subscribers. I said, I don't know. I was never, doing, the AI keywords for years. That probably didn't help me much. But you know what? Even if I'm not the conspiracy or the, the bam in your face, sensationalism titles to get views, I'd rather get them the way that I feel is going to empower you And if I have to build this channel slowly, that's fine with me. Would I love 1 million subscribers? Yeah! Yeah! So please share subscribe and share the videos. Have fun with this world. Achieve things. Go after goals. It's okay. And just know that you are one and you want to share joy and share abundance and receive too. You know, you don't want an imbalance, and love yourself and draw the lines. I'm always working with students. I'm like, hello, you got to have some lines drawn to allow people to do certain things, not reject them, but allow them to go through their own journey. It's okay. And so 5D, expansion, acceptance, love, unconditional, accepting challenges, not finding that there's anything wrong with them, but finding the reaction in them is your test. And that's going to determine this split of those who will make different choices to remain in separation, and those who know that we just are one and that you can think separation all you want, you'll create that reality, but it's actually not the ultimate truth. But that's okay, it'll be true for you until which time you say, what? We all need each other. Need, the N word, I know I don't usually use the word and need on my channel because you have everything. You know, hang in there with me, would you? Just hang in there with me. This isn't going to last long, and you're going to be so glad when you work and work and work on this and you finally get it, and it's just who you are. And you don't have to be who you are right now if you don't like it. If you struggle at all, anything that puts you into a state of, you know, anxiety, depression, there is a way out. Now, you guys know I have a free masterclass. It's actually the introduction to Breakthrough Fear. Free masterclass, it's 1 hour. You could get a lot out of that. And you can go in the description or on my website, landriaonkka.com, sign up for it. And then if you want to take the next level and consider, I don't let everybody in Breakthrough Fear, by the way. You have to have a 30-minute little chat with me, and we talk about what's going on in your life. But then we'll decide if you and I should work together, because you got to be ready for it. You know, otherwise, you know, we don't want you to push something that you don't believe in. You're beautiful. You're whole and perfect and strong, powerful, loving, harmonious, and happy. It's there. It's all there. Blessings to you, my friend. Namaste.